Hey guys, it's Tom Box here with Darren Cortes down here. You guys can see him. Want to say hi?
Hey guys.
So Darren Cortes finished top 64 at NA WCQ. Very impressive performance. And first of all, where are you from, Darren?
I am from Victoria, British Columbia, so up in Canada.
So you're island side.
Yeah, I'm an island guy. And yeah, so small. Most people wouldn't know. Got to take a ferry. It's a hassle to get to regionals and big events, but
well, I think it was well worth it. I mean, take a look. You made top 64. I mean, you and Oscar put BC on the map in terms of the top cut range, and I'm very impressed with like you guys. We don't even have a regional. Like, how do we get this high level performance here? You know?
Yo, someone asked me that. Do you guys even have regionals? And we're like, no, we gotta go to Seattle. like
you have to take a ferry to Seattle to actually go down to play. You have to take a ferry and then drive down. That's a super huge hassle. Okay, well, did you enjoy your weekend so far? Like how was the event there? Like the NA WCQ.
The event was great. Like there were so many people. This was the second nationals I've gone to. First one being 2 years back in Nashville. So there was even more people at this one than there was back then. I think like 2,379 players were in the main event, but there was way more people in the building because you had people doing side events. So that was like super awesome. Everyone was friendly, and I had so much fun down there in Chicago.
Okay. That was great. So, okay, I'm going to get to what deck did you play?
I played the most standard deck. I played Pure Zoo.
Okay. So you're playing Pure Zoo. I'm sure some of the guys in the audience right now are going like, oh, another Pure Zoo deck. Okay. Well, just to be fair to Darren, since he did top 64 with the deck, it does show that there is a skill gap between all these players. And depending on the format, like, being that this is to most people, a tier 0 format. Like, how do you identify the skill gap between players playing the same deck, basically?
Well, there's definitely, like, I always believe playing the mirror matches showcases your skill if you're able to be successful in them. You know, everyone can play the deck, but not everyone can perform well with the deck. So, like, obviously getting to top 64 is a huge, I think, like it shows a lot if you're a player playing the most popular deck, because you're most likely had to play 8, 9, 10 different matchups, and everyone gets a little mad because they're like, this is a dice roll format too. They talk about, so they're like, if you're winning the dice rolls, you're probably winning the matches. That is true and untrue, I believe. Like, I only won like 6. I think I won half of my dice rolls, and my record reflects that I had that I was still able to be successful, and that just goes in knowing how to play against knowing how to play your deck going first or second. So
see, that's something I do agree with. It's just that from what I've noticed, I played a very similar list to your list. In fact, I actually just net decked Oscar's list, and
okay.
I have noticed that it doesn't exactly matter to me, but of course, if the other guy has the God hand, like he opens his hand with a Pot of Desires and gets additional 2 traps to counter your entire hand. Basically, there are certain boards that are unbreakable, and those would be considered the die roll hands.
No, definitely, and those boards are tough to break. But I still feel like there are, like, if you build your deck correctly, then you can play through most of that stuff. Like, that's why I decided to play Pure Zoo, because actually I was playing True Draco Zoo, and that's what I was going to go to the event with. But last minute, Pure Zoo allowed me to play the most amount of cards that allowed me to play through more, I felt. So that's why it says Pure Zoo, and it lets you play through. So sometimes, you know, like, I had a couple of games where my opponent like double shuffle Reborn and soul charged on me, and I still managed to win the grind game just playing it out. Yet it's so, as much as this might be a dice roll format, it's not you can't use that as the only excuse for if you weren't successful. Like,
okay,
it
makes sense. It makes sense. There are, like, at a high level, you can clearly tell that you would know more options to actually break boards than those who did not have enough practice with the deck.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
So this is the stuff that you guys should know, guys, alright? Alright, so, you know what? So satisfy the people that want to talk about non-zoo. Before we get into your deck profile, what was your hardest non-zoo matchup? If you have any. I mean, I'm sure you had like tons of mirror matches. What was the like non-zoo matchup like?
So my only actual non-zoo matchups were like I played a Magician Pendulum, took me to game 3. Honestly though, kind of my own fault. Like I won that dice roll and I lost. Know exactly what every cards did, so I didn't totally prepare for it. Luckily, I was able to adapt and win game 2 and 3, like handily. But I think Paleo. I played against Paleo, and that matchup is really tough for Zoo because they got cards that Book of Moon you, Karma Cut you, and interrupt your plays so much, and they have an amazing card called Cards of Demise that draws them a bunch of traps and sets, and then they just set it, and then they're able to play on your turn and disrupt you. So actually, that was Paleo was a tough matchup. I remember losing my round 12 to a 60 card Paleo Zoo player who made it all the way to top 8.
Well, top 8.
Yeah, he made it all the way to top 8. But it was Paleo. Paleo was a tough one.
So Paleo is a tough matchup. So just because we're in a tier 0 format does not mean that we have to play the tier 0 deck. All right. So aside from that, well, as we all know, most Zoo players are going to be aware that Zoo is probably going to die in the next ban list. That's a given. Yeah.
Yeah, that deck is dead.
So, what are you planning playing next?
Well, coming out of like nationals, I think a really interesting deck will be True Dracos. It's gonna really depend on how the ban list hits it, but True Dracos is the deck I'm kind of looking towards to build. Now that might change when the ban list comes, and then I might look at what Lynx has to offer because that's only like a month or so away. So
yeah, it's really close.
Yeah, it's really, really close, and everything that changed. So I'm looking at those, but Dinos, I don't think Dinos is going to get touched, and we all see in the OCG that's doing well in Link format. And so yeah, those are the two decks. Also, Blue Eyes might make a return. I mean, I see people picking up Blue Eyes Chorus, so those are the decks I'm kind of like looking to see what I could do with.
All right, sounds pretty good. And I guess now we will go into your profile that I guess most people already see right here, but I'll let you do the rundown of your own deck.
All right, perfect. Well, okay, so it's really standard, as like a lot of people will say.
I think it's down to a science by now.
Yeah, exactly. So there's 3 Thoroughblade, 3 Whiptail, 2 Rapier, 2 Ram. Those are standard. I think that's a great perfect ratio, especially with 3 Thoroughblade. That helps really like draw your traps. You need to draw your traps when you're playing the mirror match. It's what helps you win. So I had those cards, and then I decided to play like heavier hand traps, I guess now it's called. So I played 3 Ogre, 2 Ash, and 1 Maxi.
So actually, I'm gonna cut you right here. Why the double Ash? I mean, a lot of people just chose to cut the Ash altogether and just throw it to the side.
Yeah, so everyone's reasoning for doing that is because it's not great against the pure Zoo matchup. Mm-hmm. They're not incorrect. Like that, it actually isn't that great. But I didn't want to lose to the decks that I shouldn't lose to. You know, like I didn't want to lose to Paleo and not make top 64. I didn't want to lose to Magicians and not make top 64. And so I decided to play Ash more as like a safety net and coverage card that allowed me to hit multiple different decks, and then sided out for the pure Zoo matchup. And I'm glad I did, because I didn't lose to those. Like I didn't lose to those matchups because I had Ash. I Ashed the player's Pendulum Call. That felt really.
That's a heavy minus for them.
Yeah, I Ashed a Max C in the mirror match actually, and I
that's huge.
Yeah, and Pots of Desire is like what people people playing Pot of Desires made Ash kind of better in the mirror match, because now you're not giving them the Pot of Greed, right? So like it's like a 1-for-1 your card for their Pot of Desires, but they banish resources. So that's not terrible. So that's why I decided to play Ash.
Well, makes sense.
Yeah. So that I believe it was just 16 monsters.
Yep, 16 monsters.
Then into my spells, 3 barrage, 3 tanky. That's standard. 3 my body. That I think is standard now. Just because my body is just so good at like saving you, like,
better than Chalice?
when there's an. Yeah. I like it better than Chalice because it actually gets rid of the Dryden as opposed to the Chalice. Then you still have to attack into the Dryden. So my body protects you from Dryden and gets rid of the problem altogether, and can get rid of Masterpiece when they make it unaffected by traps and monsters only.
Gives you the flexibility. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. Then I played 2 Cosmic Cyclones. Now this card could have been easily interchangeable with Twin Twisters. I actually kind of wish it was Twin Twisters because I played so much Pure Zoo. But it wasn't a bad card. Like, my theory was 1-for-1ing when I go first in the mirror match. Wasn't bad, and then in game 2 I'd side in the Twin Twisters and take the Cyclones out, because then Twin Twisters is much more of a blowout card going second.
Yeah,
so
blow away the body shields and throw the board wipe, then proceed to do your own combo.
Yeah, I actually Twin Twisted like a Pure Zoo matchup. He set 2. He had a full board of Dryden and Hammer Kong and stuff. So I Twin Twisted his back row, and one of them was in my body, and ended up dark holing him. And just like if he was like, my God, that's so good. I was like, like, what kind of it is.
I'm sorry, Canadian things. Sorry that I destroyed you.
So yeah, it was great. And then after that, 2 enemy controllers, because that card is like one of the best cards going second against Pure Zoo.
Like like aside from this, how would you compare this card to Dark Hole, like against very similar boards?
So it doesn't lose to my body, so that's a positive. So and it's a quick play, so you can really make your opponent, like, you can react to your opponent as Dark Hole. You know, like if they have the my body, now you've traded a 1-for-1 with them. But this card allows me to just force them to use the Dryden, and even if they have a Hammer Kong, I just take the Hammer Kong and I can still make a Zoo monster. The one negative thing is this card does lose the barrier, so like but it's really, really good going second. Other than that, Pot of Desires at 2, the card is a staple. Like, running it at 3 might even also be correct. You just want to see that card and get that +1.
Ever get punished player for playing it?
One player asked me, but I never banished anything I didn't need. Like, I never banished too many Whiptails or too many, like, usually when I went to look at my banish pile, I was like, oh sweet, there's another Pot of Desires here. So, like, I got that
wow,
card,
you're pretty lucky. I can tell you my experience with this in game round 1. I actually lost because of this card. It was unfortunate. I'll show you my story. It's very simple, very quick. I just lost 3 Whiptails and 2 Thoroughblades, and then I could never defeat a Ram. I died like that. That was my punishment.
That's unfortunate. It's kind of one of those cards that's high risk, high reward.
Yep.
And I think like in the mirror match, you want to draw those traps. Like,
that is true.
It is what wins you those matches. Like, if your opponent has a barrier and you don't, like,
you lose.
You're having a hard time in that matchup. So you got to draw your traps.
Well, barrier does let you skip their opponent's turn for the most part.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't want to be skipping my turns.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
So if they're gonna make me skip a turn, I'll make them skip a turn by using my own barrier. So
fair enough.
Other than that, it was 2 Shuffle Reborns. This card made me want to play this deck, actually, because when I saw it in Euros, I'm like, this is another extender. Like, I'm not just relying on the normal summon and the barrage. Now I got Shuffle Reborn, and this card was just really good all weekend. Especially the Shuffle Back effect. Like, I Shuffle Back, drew into a Pot of Desires, that then got the monster that I needed to win the game in a game 3 in time. So, like, this card's amazing.
You like
Soul
how
Chart,
it's like able to get rid of Flying Seas for you? Like,
I never used that effect, but that also was like a nice thing to have. It's like another way to out the Flying Sea, to make them just have a dead card, and then I get a draw. Like that's pretty good. yeah, so it made Flying C not as impactful this weekend, I guess in many ways, but I still play Flying C. So then I got really good one-ofs, Soul Charge, Book of Moon, and Raigeki. That rounds up my spells.
Yep.
Just power cards, like, don't even... I Soul Charge for like 4 in one game, and then I set a barrier, and then when he went, like, he tried a mirror match, I flipped the barrier, and he was like, well, that's pretty good. I guess I lose, like, because I just Soul Charge back for 4, so next turn I was able to just attack him with, like, everything I brought back.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah. It's, that card is, I don't even know why it's legal, like, why it was legal, but...
You think it's a good turnover card if you actually fallen really far behind.
Yeah, no, it did. It brought me back from lots of games, and too, like, when my opponent played it, like, it made it harder for me to kill them. So, you know, even though they take the life damage, it was still harder to kill them because they usually like had double Dryden, and that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, double Dryden is one of the scary boards that I don't want to deal with because it just means they have basically answers to your normal summon and like perhaps one of the additional answers, like a barrage or something like that.
No, absolutely. So yeah, that Soul Charge lets you make that.
Yep.
So yeah, those were my spells, and then we went to my traps. Only played 6, 3 D barriers, like obviously.
Skip your bonus turn.
Yeah, 2 Solemn Strike and 1 Zoo combo.
Okay.
So the combo I felt like was very necessary, especially for the grind matchups. Some people cut it, but I really liked the combo, and I just sided out going second so that I didn't draw it, and I could draw more relevant cards that I sided in.
Yep.
But it was really good for that game 1 grind, and then 2 strikes because I felt like strike was like the only other trap that I could play going second that stopped a wide variety of things that I didn't want to have to play against. So like a pendulum summon. Like I didn't want to, so I played strike because of that.
Okay, that sounds fair. Like reading into D barrier. Now, when you get like the one moment, say I maxied you and you had a D barrier, would you take the challenge? Would you take the maxi challenge?
So, well, it depends if I knew what you were playing, but
if you knew I was playing Zoo.
Yeah, so I typically will just make, like, you're getting, because any good player max sees you when you like either rat or barrage or something. So they'll get that draw, and I'll usually just make a Dryden because and so I'll just give them the 1 additional draw, and then I'll set the D barrier because I want to still make my opponent, like, I don't want to just give away D barrier. I feel like if you just set, like, if you don't make a Dryden, you're telling your opponent like that you got that D barrier, and then they probably will just like normal summon and attack your monster instead of maybe going into that XYZ play, and then you can make them lose their attack, which then you're not going to lose your monster. Mm-hmm. So I'll make the Dryden to pressure and try to save that D barrier as much as possible because I do want to, like, I don't just want to use, I want to use D barrier more to help me secure a game, than just stop my opponent for 1 turn. Okay. If that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, you rather get more value out of this D barrier rather than just to, like, I don't know, stun.
Yeah, like a lot of people will just, like, I saw just they're flipping D barrier, but then they're getting their whole board like just attacked over by Thoroughblade or something, and then you're just like, and you could have just made your Dryden. You could have made more use of your board by having a Dryden to destroy something of theirs, than just flipping a D barrier and negating your monsters. So
okay, sounds fair enough. All right, let's go into your extra deck. Your extra deck is one of the most standard extra deck. I guess you can just run through it. I think everyone kind of knows what's going on right here.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So the only thing, so it's 3 Dryden, 3 Broadbull, 3 Chalk and 9, 2 Tiger Mortars, a Borbo, 1 Hammer Kong, 1 Emerald, and 1 Tornado Dragon.
Yep.
So when I was theorying with people from Victoria, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play 3 Chalk and 9. They were all like, why are you gonna play 3 Chalk and 9? Like, and I was just like, because I want to have more one monster like overlays are better than me having like like something else. So I wanted the Chalk 9 because not only is it a one monster overlay, it also is sometimes how you play around those board wipes. You're always playing Chalk 9, bring back the Ram, or you're always making a double giant with Chalk 9. So I felt Chalk 9. I value Chalk 9 very high, almost higher than Broad Bull actually. So I definitely don't regret not playing 3 Chalk 9. It actually won me a lot of games, and players where they were trying to make reads of what was left in my extra deck, they'd be looking, and I'd be like, I still got that 3rd Chalk 9. So that came up a lot, and so that's the only thing really that I got a little flack for. The other thing I'll say too is I actually sometimes did miss having a second Hammer Kong, especially in the True Draco matchup.
Okay.
Having a second Hammer Kong allows you to just slap it on board so that their traps can't target your Dryden or your monster for destruction. So they're forced to destroy Hammer Kong. So there was a lot of value in having a second Hammer Kong.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, aside from just like what you use it for, which is the Rapier combo. So
I'm just wondering if you saw the semifinals where it was actually quite saddening to see a pure Zoodiac player lose with a Hammer Kong that has a Ram attached. Have you seen that part?
I did. I had no idea why he didn't attach. I had no idea what. But you're watching. Like, these guys are on stream. There's probably pressure. Like,
there's definitely pressure. I can tell you that. I mean, they're getting watched by like thousands and thousands of players, like from all over the world. And definitely the pressure is on, and perhaps they are pretty exhausted. I mean, this is like round, well, to them it's like 17. Round 17 for them. It's like almost 24 hours of Yu-Gi-Oh, or at least. Yeah, I can understand, but that was a very sad moment, I would say, because he had it, and unfortunately the board got broken. That was the one masterpiece versus 8 cards. That moment was pretty epic. Okay.
Yeah, Masterpiece is a strong card.
Yeah, Masterpiece is a ridiculously strong card. It is the core of the entire why True Dracos work. Okay, let's go into your side deck. And actually, I'm going to ask you about some of your choices here. So, triple Flying Sea for...
Yes. The mirror match.
Mirror match. The Last Ash.
Yes. You need it for all of the... True Draco decks. Stopping Heritage is very important. You do not want to give them +2 draws. So I sided in for all the rogue stuff.
Okay.
And then Kamungus and Gamasiel or True Draco, just out the masterpiece.
He chose alternate names for the reason being...
the reason it doesn't happen very often, but I like if you ever draw both, like...
Oh, you can draw both.
Then I can summon the Gamasiel, and then maybe summon the Kamungus, even though I think it's just correct to just hold a Kamungus for when they summon another powerful monster that you want to out after the Gamasiel's gone. So, but yeah, just 2 different names. Like,
I mean, the really extra 200 attack isn't exactly too relevant.
It's irrelevant. You were like most times you're just popping it with Dryden to get rid of it once you've dealt with the card.
Well, so that's fair. That's fair. So 1 Dark Hole.
Yep. Just wanted one more board wipe other than the Raigeki. Just because I didn't want to play too much because I knew my Body's a Shield was super popular. So so just 1 extra board wipe for that.
Triple Thorn Twister.
Yes, blow a card going second. It's so good. You can main those, really. I think Oscar did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and I also wish I had mained them.
But Cosmic Cyclone did give you the versatility against the True Draco matchup. You don't have to eat the effect.
Yeah, that is true. I don't have to eat the effect, and sometimes 1 for 1, 1 for 1 isn't terrible. It's pretty good when you're playing in the pure matchup. Like just getting rid of that barrage, you just 1 for 1 in. So it's better than.
And then you have 1 additional strike.
Actually, this was actually a warning.
Oh, it was a warning.
Yeah, sorry, it was a warning. So the reason I played that is because warning is definitely a going first card. and it stops Masterpiece, it stops Soul Charge, it stops those power cards that you don't want to have to deal with. So I sided in going first every time.
Okay.
The warning.
Warning is good, and we have a pair of magical deflectors. Now, how did these work out for you? Some people liked it, some people didn't.
Okay, so this card, like, we just, like, some people didn't know about this card, and then some people did. I, last minute, I have to give actually a shout outs to, like, some Victoria guys, like Andrew and Nico. They got me on it. They were actually anti-spell fragrances, but I switched to Magic Deflector because I wanted to stop my opponent for the turn in a variety of different ways than just have them set their entire back row, and then I had to play through it next turn. So this card, like, was very good. Stops Diagram, stops their Heritage, it stops cards like Twin Twister that try to blow you out going second. It stops Econ, it stops in my body. Like, all those quick, like, all those cards are super, like, it was a really amazing card. It stopped my opponent's barrage when he tried to barrage destroy my flying sea. I had summon on his field, and he was like, "Oh,
that's a pretty hard stun."
yeah, he was all like, "Oh, damn, okay." And so I love this card. I would play 3 if I had tested it more, but the night before it was the last change in my deck list.
Have you ever used it to protect your back row?
Yeah, stop, like, the Twin Twister.
Yeah, stopping the Twin Twister. I mean, that actually happened to me personally, but I'm a sack, so I had a second Twin Twister to go in again.
The chain.
Yeah, I had to do the chain right away, and then he actually had a second magical deflector to stop that, which basically ate 4 of my cards for double. I
was gonna say, he traded 2 cards for 4. That sounds pretty good.
I
mean, like,
he did end up in the better spot because I was still under magical deflector, so the barrage in hand could not even be played.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. And even if, like, he had not had that second one, you just traded 4 cards for 3 of his.
But I don't have a turn.
Your 2-card hand, it's like, it's pretty tough to play with just a 2-card hand.
That's true.
So Deflector's good.
Deflector's pretty good. So you sided the Imperial Order rather than maining it. Your logic behind it.
It's significantly better going first than second, especially when they bring in, like, the Twin Twisters and the stuff, and usually the board wipes. Like, not a lot of people main board wipes, so it stops more cards going, more cards that'll hurt you going when they're going second. So I decided it going first. I didn't want to see it going second at all.
Okay, no, that's fair enough. And you sided 1 extra deck monsters, Abyss Dweller. What your logic for this?
So this was like, I sided it because I played the 3rd Chakanine in the main, and so I was talking about it with my friends, and I was like, they were just like, why don't you just play Dweller? And I'm like, because I wanted the 3rd Chakanine, but I still wanted Dweller somewhere in my deck because I didn't want to like, not have it. It's such a strong card to stop True Draco that or True Draco dinosaurs, and then the other deck I was thinking Paleo. So it's just such a very strong, like, card. I wanted it somewhere in my deck. I just didn't feel like I needed it to be in my main extra deck. So I sided it. I found a space and I sided it. It was nice.
Well, awesome. So that would cover your deck list. I just want to add a few extra comments in here. Just a quick one before we move on. See, the thing about... Actually, I kind of lost my train of thought. That's kind of sad. I'll probably just leave this part in. But yes, it was actually regarding Dweller and Dweller's interaction with several other cards. But I actually just completely lost my train of thought right now. Well, I guess we'll go on to shoutouts. Who do you want to give shoutouts to with their awesome, well, success in this tournament?
Well, I definitely want to shout out everyone from Victoria. Like, every single player that I've ever played with, they've made me better. Without them, I wouldn't be the player that I am today. So
shout out to Victoria.
Victoria. Shout out to you guys out in Vancouver. You guys made me feel super supported as I was trying to get to the top 16 64 with all the posts you guys were making on the Vancouver group.
Oh yeah, we're rooting for you, man. Definitely.
Yeah, no, it felt amazing that to know that I just like almost felt like I had like the entire, like, I won't say the country, but you know, like we had the entire like province.
Oh, yeah. The
backing me.
Yeah, the community is definitely backing you on this one. We're cheering on the BC players. You are definitely among those.
Yeah, so shout out to you guys for sure. I can't forget to shout out my girlfriend. She's actually super supportive of me playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Was always messaging me throughout the event and at night telling me that I was gonna do well, that I could get far, and so shout out to her. She's great. I wanted to do really well for her, so.
Oh man, that's real sweet of you, man. You know what?
Yeah.
You know what? If you guys just thumbs up on that comment deserves a thumbs up right there. Definitely. Anyone else?
I mean, like that's everything. That's the majority of people. I kind of grouped everyone together.
That sounds great to me. Well, obviously, I feel very good for your success. I'm really happy because, you know, Victoria, you came up to MOS to play as well.
I actually haven't been to MOS.
Were you the only one that have not been to MOS?
I'm the only player who hasn't been to the MOS from Victoria, I think.
Well, buy some time whenever. Yeah. Or actually, maybe we'll get a BC regional. I'm really working hard to actually get that thing done. That's my goal. That's my goal. My goal is to bring the BC regional, and then you can come play at a regional where you only need to take one ferry.
Yes,
that would be nice.
Yeah, but it would be nice. But yeah, I do plan to come out to an MOS. I just have been very busy, and it is expensive. Like it is
pricey.
For me to take a ferry, like a ferry is not
cheap. Like you got to take a car and a ferry, and you have to pay for the car too.
But moving forward, I think I want to like widen the people I play and test with. So you probably see me making a couple more trips out to Vancouver. Especially to get ready for events.
All right, that sounds very good. Hopefully, I can plan events properly like that, or maybe we'll get a regionals. Who knows? I'm working on that. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video with Darren Cortes giving us some really good insight about being a high-level player, well, hit that like button. Of course, if you want to see more stuff from MST.TV, and maybe you want me to interview some of you guys out there, well, subscribe to MST.TV and leave a comment down below, and I would love to hear from you guys. Darren, you got any final words?
You know, nothing big. I'm super happy. I hope I made everyone that was rooting for me proud. I look forward to getting better and repeating my success at hopefully next year's Nats.
Well, hopefully we'll see you maybe top 32, top 16, maybe top 8, maybe top 4 semifinals. Maybe you see you in Worlds. But I'm rooting for you for that for sure. Well, until next time, guys, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please drop us a like so we know we are doing a good job, and you can also subscribe to MST.TV for more fantastic videos by clicking on the button on the left. Don't forget to check out our partners at Imperium Duelist. They make really high quality mats, including some of my own limited edition release stuff. And if you want to check out one of our past videos, click here on the right. As always, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV, and I'll see you next time.